What's up, everyone? Garage 79R. We're in the garage. We're looking over Earl. I was racing yesterday and was running with Mercedes Club. They were running at Summit Point on the Washington circuit. And I love racing on the Washington circuit. It's the old go-kart track. And it's neat. It's kind of like basically like a big parking lot, but then it has like green islands and stuff. It's really fun. I like it a lot. My video that I put up last night, and you'll see what I'm talking about if you're unfamiliar with the Washington circuit. But anyway. While I had the hood up after one of my runs yesterday, I noticed a couple of drops of oil coming out of the air filter and dripping onto the frame rail. Now, I've already kind of mopped it up, but it was enough to make it wet. There's only two reasons for oil to get into the air intake. Possibly, it could have lifted the ringland and it was blowing crankcase pressure into the air intake. But more than likely, and what in this case is, the turbo's blown. Now it's fully cooled off, so it's not as loose, but trying to, can you see that? It's definitely bad, and it's hard to do it, but I can grab it and wiggle it around. Like yesterday when it was still kind of hot, that thing was floppy. It was like, oh, how did this like make it home? But it still worked. It still made the power. Still did the thing. Got it done. Got me home. But if you're unfamiliar, this is a 1752 turbo. And a 1752 is a stock turbo for a Saab. Now that's a Chinese like aftermarket one that I bought used a couple years ago. So I can't be mad that it's blown. It's just unfortunate and kind of annoying. But that leads to, okay, pending to make sure, I want to do a compression check on the motor just to be sure. And if there's no funny numbers, or if I get a funny number, then I'll put the car back together. I'll take it to work and do a leak down test. But pending motor health, what turbo do I get? Do I get another 1752? I could. It's actually a really good match for this motor, maybe ever so slightly small, but it works really well. Or do I get another 2554R, which I originally used on this car on its first go round? Or that's not, the 2554R worked well, but it wasn't ideal. Actually, the perfect turbo, according to doing the compressor math and whatnot, is a Garrett 2052 turbo, which is a turbo for a diesel application. And that's really, the diesel turbo is fine. There's no reason to not use a diesel turbo if it works, if it's got the right, airflow for your demands. But it's an oil only turbo. It's not water cooled, which it's not the end of the world. The water cooling is really there to kind of just buy you time on the oil and whatnot. I never shut this down immediately anyway after running it hard. So, and I run premium HPL oil in this car. So oil only on a turbo is not the end of the world. But the problem is that turbo is expensive. It's $1,000 turbo. Yeah, I could get a knockoff, but then I might blow it again in a year or something, like who knows. So I'm flip-flopping on that. And if you follow my Instagram channel, _garage79r_ is my Instagram channel, and it's all about my cars. I don't post about my life. I don't post about my wife. I don't post about my daughter. I don't post about my dogs. It's strictly about the cars. So if you want to know what's going on, that's the best way to follow. And if you do follow, I've been working on the Malibu finally. So real quick, I'll touch on that. I've bought the dry shaft. I bought the speedometer. I'm buying all the things I've been waiting to buy for the Malibu because it was at the money spending stage, and I wasn't prepared or ready to start spending money on it yet. So the Malibu is kind of taking priority right now. Of course, I guess Earl got jealous, so Earl needs a turbo. So at some point, I need to find money to buy a turbo for Earl. But anyway, the car did amazing. It did the deed. It was so much fun. I was flinging the car around, and I think a lot of people like this car. I actually gave quite a few ride-alongs, and I think people just enjoy just watching me just sling this thing around a course. So anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one, and hopefully I don't have to put a motor in this thing. And if I do, it's getting a 1NZ. See ya.